Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I'm very pleased to be joined by Julian Knight, prospective candidate for Solihull. Julian, welcome to the Sikh channel.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
I'd like to ask you a few questions. Briefly, why should anybody vote in this general election? And we've read in the press there's a lot of apathy, particularly amongst the young people. So what would you say to those who aren't inclined to vote?
I know that when many people sort of watch maybe Question Time and see people shouting at each other in Parliament and what have you, it's not very appealing to many people. I completely understand that, and I get told that on the doorstep quite regularly. However, the type of politics that I try and emphasise here in Solihull is actually what I would call about street politics. It's about doorstepping, going on people's doorstep and talking to them about the issues that matter to them. I've actually knocked on over 30,000 doors since I was selected as the candidate here in 2013.
That's tremendous. By yourself? Did you have a big team with you?
Well, I have a team, but sometimes it's just me and one person with a clipboard.
Yes.
Sometimes it's 10 or 11 others or 20. But more often than not, it's just a few hardy souls who go out there in order to find sort of local issues. I've actually got through 3 pairs of shoes in that time, so that's one of the things. I also do lots of street stalls and surgeries as well to basically deal with people's problems and issues. Because I think people really want, in Solihull, someone who is very much imbued with the local community, is someone who works hard over those issues such as local healthcare, education, issues such as that, and the local economy, and also apprenticeships and options for young people. But also a key reason why I think people should be voting, not just on the local and someone who's going to represent them locally, but also I do think this is the most important election of our lifetime.
Really?
Probably as important since 1979.
And why is that?
Well, in 2010, I think this country faced a national crisis, an emergency. We were, let's put it quite bluntly, we were broke.
We were broke.
We were broke.
Yes.
We were borrowing more than Greece, and we could have gone down the same road as Greece or France or Spain or Italy. And in places like Greece, they've seen pensions have been cut by 40%. In Spain, you have half of all people under 25 without a job. It's absolutely frightful. And we had a choice at that point. Do we want to try and get our own finances under control in order, basically, to get the economy moving?
And do you feel we've done that? Have we achieved control over finance?
I think we've basically come away from the precipice. I don't think the work is yet done. And that's the key why this election is so important. Because we have the options of either going back to where we were in 2010 and living beyond our means, or, as many people within the Sikh community will know, a much better way of doing things is living within your means, budgeting correctly, and then trying to see that means the economy then grows.
Coming on to the Sikh community, particularly here in the Solihull area, what would you say to the local Sikh community? Why should they vote for Julian Knight?
Okay, well, firstly, it's about the local issues as well, the ones that I've been representing very strongly on. Local NHS services, the schools. I'm looking to try and achieve another £6 million for Solihull schools by bringing in the money that should be coming to us at the moment, funding arrangements. We have an issue where we have 6,000 pupils a day coming in from Birmingham, but they don't bring the Birmingham money with them. They bring the Solihull money with them, and that means we miss out on £6 million. So I'm looking to try and achieve that. I've been taking a cross-party delegation in to see the Education Minister, and I managed to get some movement there, so I'm hopeful we can achieve something on that.
Will that be at the expense of Birmingham City Council?
No, not at all. Not at all. The idea of funding arrangements basically is that at the moment we make a very particular case, and that is Solihull is a shining example of schools in the West Midlands. It means that we have a lot of people coming in to Solihull to go to school, and all we're asking for from Whitehall is a fair arrangement, so that those people bring the money with them that they would give if they went to Birmingham schools.
So education is a key focus for you?
It is, and it's a key focus for people in Solihull and within the Sikh community as well. But I'd also make one other point as well, particularly for the Sikh community. Many people within the Sikh community who are also members and friends with the Conservative Party here are business people. They're entrepreneurs. And also they invest in property. So 2 things they really want to see is a business-friendly government, one that isn't going to impose on them.
And do you feel that's changed historically? The Sikh community have voted Labour, but do you think the tide has now changed as the Sikh community have progressed and become part of the business culture of the country?
Or integrated within the business culture of the country. I think their priorities are maybe focused on the business side of things, on the idea of entrepreneurship, and being crucially within an environment which encourages that entrepreneurship. What we don't want to go back to, as we had in 2010, is in essence an anti-business culture. Every penny the government gets comes from business. doesn't come from anywhere else. It all comes from business. And we have to make sure that we encourage business and make sure the taxes are low on business, so that basically we get the public services that we really need.
So that's the case for the business argument, to look after business, but also with that comes the social responsibilities. The Sikh community have a strong ethos of seva, of charity work. And what's your view on social services, for example?
I think, frankly, our society could take a great deal from the pillars, and does take a great deal from the pillars of the Sikh faith. And I do believe that the Sikhs within Solihull set a real example when it comes to not just volunteer work, but also charitable giving and working within the wider community, an integrated community as well, which is really welcome in that respect. When it comes to social welfare and issues of that, I'm a great believer. Now, I come from a council house background. I'm from a lone parent family, and I've worked since I was 16 years old. And I have seen the damage that over-reliance on welfare does to a society. So what I want welfare to do is absolutely to help those who really need the help. You know, for example, those who can't work due to disability or mental health issues. That is where our tax money should go to.
Would you like to see some benefits cut?
No, but what I would like to see is that basically we encourage those who currently are on benefits and can work into work. Now that's two ways. A, you do a benefits cap so that no one earns more through being out of work than being in work. Now, I think that's only fair for those who are in work. But on the second part of that as well, and this is absolutely crucial, we need to ensure the tax system is structured so that people get to keep more of their own money when they do enter the workforce. So, for example, the first £12,500 a year should be there, available tax-free, that you earn, and that's a commitment by the Conservative Party. And the idea of that is that basically we therefore make work pay for people.
Yes.
Because the greatest lift out of poverty is work.
And how are migrants affecting people on benefits? People on benefits may find it hard to get back into work because they're being undercut by migrant cheap labour from Eastern Europe and other countries.
Well, let's just get something straight about the whole migration issue. There are many people out there, you know, such as UKIP, etc., who seemingly want us to go back to the world from the 1950s. I'm afraid the world has moved on in that regard, and we have to accept that people do come here because we have a dynamic economy which has created more jobs in the last year in the UK than the rest of the EU combined. So that we are in that sort of situation. So we are appealing and attractive to quite dynamic people coming in. And we also must remember that 1.6 million people have come into the UK to work, but also 1.2 million have gone out of the UK to work, and we mustn't deny that opportunity as well. So I'm broadly, in many respects, I do think migration can be very good elements in that regard, but what we need to do is also to encourage our own people to take up the jobs that are also being taken by migrants. Yes. And that's where I'm talking about the benefits cap. And then secondly, fairer taxes, so they get to keep more of their own money. Super. If we make work pay, we get more people into work, and we supercharge our economy.
Super. And free schools. The Sikh community have been extremely pleased with free schools. There's been a large take-up across the country. We've seen several Sikh communities successfully start free schools. And what's your commitment to free schools, and will that continue under the present government?
Yes, under a Conservative government, post the election on May the 7th, absolutely focused on free schools. In fact, today I believe the Prime Minister announced he wants to see another 50 free schools formed within the next Parliament.
And will the Sikh community get a large percentage of those 50 schools?
I would imagine that everyone would be look from all groups and all communities. And I think it's a great development, actually. The idea basically of taking schooling away from much more centralised powers and giving it to the community that actually is served by that school. If you think about it, it gives control to parents, it gives control to teachers, and it gives control to governors. So I'm wholly in favour of it. And also, 50 new schools means another 250,000 pupils potentially being taught through a free school. Now, Solihull is famous for its schools. We've already talked about that, haven't we? What I think we want to see in this country is the UK schooling system becoming like Solihull's. That's what it is. That's the lesson.
So is that a benchmark?
This is a gold standard, which I think the rest of the country is now catching up on. And I think that's terrific.
And keeping on the subject of schools and education, David Cameron has mentioned, he's been very vocal in the press, he'd like to see greater tolerance and British values taught in schools. The Sikh faith is based upon tolerance and acceptance of all.
Yes.
Would you support the Sikh faith being introduced in all curriculums across all education, across all schools? Do you think that would be a positive step?
I think the teaching of tolerance and faith and different faiths is to be very welcome. I'm a person of faith myself, and I see all paths to God.
Would you mind sharing that faith with us?
I'm a Christian.
Yes.
And I frankly find all paths to God a wonderful thing to behold in that regard.
Yes.
So I think that any sort of education system which encourages people to think about the tolerance, the idea of equality and understanding, and breaking down barriers. We live in very difficult times right now. We all know this, globally and also domestically as well. And we have to basically work at our communities to ensure that all barriers are broken down, so that basically we can respect one another and work with one another.
That's super. The Sikh channel was invited to 10 Downing Street to a Vaisakhi celebration. We were very pleased to attend. Many prominent members of the Sikh community attended, and it's a great occasion, and it's something the Conservative government introduced, so the Sikh community are very pleased with that. We have a Diwali event each year.
Yeah.
Would you also look to introducing an event for Guru Nanak Dev Ji's birthday, which is in November of each year? And is that something you'd look to do for the Sikh community?
I believe there was actually an event held at the conference centre in Westminster to do with the a launch of an encyclopedia into Sikhism on that particular day, I believe, last year.
Yes, in November.
Yes. And I think that I actually attended that event as well as attending the events that you mentioned at 10 Downing Street. And I would see myself as someone who would, who frankly would welcome any such initiative of that sort. I think the more we embrace, the more that we grow a tolerant and understanding and faithful society, I think the better for all concerned.
Super. Finally, what is your message to the Sikh community here in Solihull? There's a large number of Sikhs living here because it's an affluent area.
Yes.
It's very attractive to Sikh community who have progressed well in society, and they're very much integrated into the society and community of Solihull. What's your message to the Sikh community in Solihull?
Well, my core message is that as a potential Member of Parliament, I will work incredibly hard for them and for the wider community. I'm from a background of hard work. I've built myself up in life, as I say, from a council house and lone parent family to become a national newspaper money and property editor, so understanding the economics of our country and of business. And prior to that, the BBC News personal finance correspondent. Yes. I built myself up in life, and the key to that is actually very much the Sikh way of doing things as well in that regard. I understand what it takes to build up, and I understand what it means as well to have your community to also to embrace the idea of strong family. And I would hope to be a very good Member of Parliament for Solihull and for the Sikh community, and more widely as well. It does mean that nationally we have a situation where we can bed down this recovery, because frankly we can't afford the public services that we all want without a strong economy.
That's super. Thank you very much for joining the Sikh channel today, and we wish you well with the forthcoming election. Thank you very much. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.